I think everyone should have that time where you can turn off, because I think I would go crazy if you can't go 24/7 anything.
Yeah.
Well, some people, I mean, it's interesting to even go back to what you're talking about with Mike Rowe about not doing the thing that you love. Like, I read something similar about, like, you have your job, you have a hobby, and then you have like a hobby that makes money or something. You have a hobby that doesn't make money, a hobby that makes money, and then your job.
Right.
But like making a point to actually keep all those things separate. Or like we make films as a hobby, but then we also work side projects as hobbies that are also videos. Like I do weddings, so like that's a side hobby. But then I also work for an agency, and like that's the job. But then like they're all the same thing. So like,
how do I separate it?
How do I separate it? And like, or what do I do now? Like my hobby is what I do.
Well, the way I look at it now is
I'm now I'm one-dimensional.
I'm a one-dimensional character.
One-dimensional character.
Fucking drawing class.
It's like an existential crisis.
Well, the way I looked at it is that at work we at least I have creative freedom, but it's only to an extent. You have to you're limited to brand guidelines, limited to like the certain things. But when we do our own thing, it's unlimited. We can do whatever we want. So I think that's the time. That's where for me it doesn't conflict because of the extra freedom you have when you're just doing your own thing. For me, it's like it's been more photography than video. And like we went on vacation in October to California, and like I was just so into taking photos, but like
it turned out amazing.
Yeah. It's just I was blown away by even what I was able to accomplish. Because I only been taking photos for like 2 years.
Yeah, that's the thing. What I was talking about, what I was reading from was they would say, okay, that's awesome. Don't pursue that for money,
right? Because you're gonna hate it.
Because you're hating it, and you'll lose all of that love.
Yeah. Well, I think it's
which is interesting.
Like anything in the arts is sort of a like an exception, because there's always room to be creative and like change it up, as opposed to a job that Mike Rowe might have been referring to. It's like, if your hobby is I don't know, like, well, I don't know what his example would be, that it's a job that you would hate.
I mean, I think he was just talking a lot of blue collar stuff.
Right. Yeah. It's like if you don't want to
because that's who
it's like
appeals
a
to
carpenter. You don't want to like be building houses during the day and then making bird boxes at night. You're gonna hate. You don't want to do that,
right?
But I feel like I don't know. It's like any other.
There's a lot of ways to think about it.
In the creative arts, I feel like there's so many different things you can do.
So many avenues,
right? Yeah. So like when we get tired of doing one thing, we can move on to something else.
And like you said, like we. Or like I was saying before, is like the certain kind of people that like you can't do something you're not interested in.
Yeah, it's just that's us
because you will go insane.
Right. Turtle.
Oh yeah, this is our this is our mascot over here.
You gotta tie a balloon.
He doesn't have a name. Oh, we should tie a balloon. Yeah.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a balloon for next time.
He needs it.
Oh, that was my question.
About balloons?
For people that don't know, one of Ryan's main clients where he works is Nikon.
Yes.
And you do so much for them, but a lot of their social content, video and photo.
Oh, I have so many questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people just want to know what that's like.
So, so to like just give a recap of what I do, our digital agency, our PR firm, our client is Nikon. One of our clients is Nikon. So I am on the team to produce their social media content. And that's not the only thing we do. We also we cover like their trade shows, and we have done like ad spots before and some campaign stuff. But the main thing is social media content. We have a team that runs their Instagram, their Facebook, their YouTube, that run out all the analytics and who's watching what, putting paid advertising behind that stuff. So, which is also cool because I get to learn sort of secondhand on like how all that stuff works, how like social media management works, which I had never done. And I'm still not doing it, but like you learn it, because you're making stuff for that platform. But my primary thing is creating pretty much anything that's going to be flashy and that people are going to watch. Every 3 months we sit down and we have a creative brainstorm to be like, all right, what is going to be in the next 3 months on their social channels. So we just had our meeting like couple of weeks ago about the next 3 months ahead. And we came up with long exposure tutorial. We came up with the thing I did yesterday, doing like a ski and snowboarding video just to show off.
Do you have to ask Nikon for permission on that?
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll come up with like 3 or 4 videos per month and write it in a brief. We send it to them and then they approve it.
You totally like so
That's
they don't influence. They don't say like we want this or we want
sometimes
that.
Sometimes they say, usually it's product priorities. So it's like, all right, this new camera came out. We need to make a video around this camera. But usually our team knows that already because we're working on those campaigns. So yeah, it's kind of free reign in terms of what I want to make. And then we propose that to the client. If the client doesn't like it, they'll tell us, they'll make a note. But most of the time they're cool with whatever we want to make.
What would you say is the average viewership on a lot of the stuff that goes up?
It's very hard to say because it changes per platform.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure my team knows. On Instagram, like I've had one of my photos go up was I think ad boosted, and it probably had like 300,000 likes or something. So, and then the audience that isn't even interacting with it is greater because there's people that see it.
Right.
The videos are a couple thousand probably.
Yeah. Well, you walked into my trap card.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that a callback to the Yu-Gi-Oh?
To the Yu-Gi-Oh conversation the other day?
If only James was here. James, we miss you.
So I had like cinematography questions.
Mm-hmm.
So just all right, we're moving on.
Not answering that question. My publicist will get back to you.
I have a thing to get to, but for the general audience, just tell us what you find yourselves shooting on most.
Like camera-wise?
What do you shoot on?
Well, I have to shoot an Nikon.
Okay. Funny story. A good story. So we shoot on GH5s at work.
Yeah.
And kick ourselves in the foot because the GH5S came out like 3 months later.
Yeah.
And I would have much rather had that, but that's okay. They're still really good cameras. Even though I think the color science is still lacking a little bit. So anyway, I usually don't like to shoot on those for like our professional stuff. Because the dual game functionality of the GH5S, which you have, is much better. But recently, just this last thing we shot on the music video, we got to use Andy's Black Magic. That thing is designed.
Pocket Cinema camera.
Yes,
4K.
thank you.
4K? This is a 4K or 6K?
Yeah, this is 4K. The 4K
one.
Yeah.
The Pocket Cinema camera. But I'm not even talking about the camera. Like, it doesn't even matter. The UI, the goddamn graphic user interface. Why is nobody doing what they're doing?
It's like intuitive.
Unbelievable. Why have I'm gonna like go on a rant here. I'm so pissed off at like just because I had to pick up the Sony the other day.
The Alpha, yeah.
We went on a shoot where we borrowed somebody's A7 III.
Right.
And it's like it feels antiquated. Yeah. It feels like it's from 10 years ago.
Plus, it's cinema cameras versus DSLR mirrorless cameras. Like I see a lot of stuff from guys I follow on Instagram or YouTube and stuff, and I see a lot of people using just massive Alexas or whatever, like big ass cinema cameras. So what are your thoughts on, well, am I ever going to use that one day? Does that intimidate you? How do you get experience using those? Right. You have to rent them. You can't buy them. So like, what are your thoughts on like making content or like, oh, I can't, I need to have a cinema camera if I'm going to make movies, or I need to have this to do that. But like you don't?
Yeah. Well, I think 5 years ago, there was a lot bigger of a gap between the prosumer and consumer market for cameras versus like the high-end Hollywood Alexas and your Reds and stuff like that.
Look at the SH1 or the S1H that came out. It's like everyone's saying it's like that thing in the middle. Quality. That's like you got the cinema, but without the. I mean, it's still pricey. But not that pricey.
That's right. but so what we've seen in the past 5 years, I would say, is the technology has caught up so fast in the prosumer market that it's on par with those professional level cameras. Yeah. Like we're shooting full frame 12-bit RAW on some of these mirrorless cameras for under $5,000. Whereas 2-3 years ago, you couldn't even imagine doing that. The Blackmagic cinema camera, shooting 4K RAW internal.
Yeah, that's a big thing, yeah.
In like a camera this big, and it's what, $1,200? Yeah. So that camera has already changed the market, and other companies are now like pushing to bump their cameras up to spec. So I think it's changed and it's continuing to change of like the difference between a prosumer camera and a high-end camera.
Yeah.
It comes down to like the really technical things of color science. And color science
is the one thing
stability
that
of the
separates
camera.
a lot of cameras.
Yeah. The ease of, I guess, the file formats that it uses maybe. How well it works in larger rigs. Like I'm sure the Alexa can be mounted to like literally anything.
That's what it is. It's nice to haves.
Yeah.
We're there where we're like we have the base specs that we need to
produce
make something
content.
high quality.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me think of some of the shoots we've done where we've hired
most of those things, by the way, people aren't going to notice.
Right. Yeah.
True.
And I was just having the conversation because
the Reddit post.
Because of your Reddit post.
Yeah.
So somebody was made an inquiry on cinematography Reddit.
Yeah, or filmmaking or something.
Filmmaking Reddit.
I think cinematography.
And they were talking about, it's their first time doing a music video. They're coming from a photo background, so they have a good idea of like
still
technical
photos,
side
though.
of stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's talking like he wants to rent that high quality gear, and he wants to get a Cook lens. He wants to rent a $30,000 lens or $20,000
because
lens.
More than that.
Because it was the lens used for "Call Me by Your Name."
Yes. Yes. So anyway,
that's why
Ryan had a real nice write up where he talked about, just don't do that.
I basically said like I don't want to bash you here. Like I want to be constructive.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think you need to take a step back. First, like you shouldn't be shooting this at all because you don't have any experience to do it.
Right.
Because he literally said like I don't have any video experience.
Well, I mean, it's okay like I said,
if it was a client thing, like
I said, the end dictates the.
He's going to embarrass himself. He doesn't even know what he's doing.
Right.
And at least from what the
post,
post,
just for fun, go for it.
Yeah, but then I also said like you don't need a Cook lens to execute this kind of thing.
Oh my God.
And then my favorite line was,
well, I say
he said,
you're either rich, experienced, or an idiot.
Yeah. but he asked in his post, he said, I really want to get a Cook lens because it's what they use for this movie. Does it work with autofocus? And then I was kind of like, no, it doesn't work with autofocus. I think this is a red flag. So,
well,
anyway,
it's like back in the day, back in when I played football and stuff, guys who would deck themselves out with all the gear, all the brand new stuff. They would wear like a ton of like wristbands and all this stuff. They didn't know what they were doing.
They weren't good.
They weren't good.
Yeah.
So I think it falls into like this category of people who, like,
they think they can buy their way.
If he buys that stuff, he'll become a filmmaker and he'll know what he's doing because he'll have all the gear.
Well, it's
that's not how it works.
There's a graph too of I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick, but there's a thing in of novice knowledge, what you think you know, versus us where we know we don't know, we know how much we don't know. Right. And that's what a novice lacks is like there's too much information they don't know, so they think they know more about it.
They're too naive.
Anyway, my point of why I was bringing up this post was because Ryan said all that stuff, and then I decided to add to it. And I was kind of half joking because I wanted Ryan to see my.
And I did,
But I wound up coming up with something else that I talked to a lot of people about the stuff that 99% of people aren't going to notice.
Yeah.
And it's like, feel free to go rent this equipment and use it for the art side of it. But like we said, if you're doing this for a paid project, you'd probably take a step back, not only because it's a waste of money and probably a waste of your time because it's not going to look great, but it's an artistic choice that probably isn't warranted for this project.
Right. Because
you're the only one that's going to notice it.
And you cited like one of 5 things we learned from marketing class, which was the law of diminishing returns.
Oh, that's another thing I was going to bring up. Yeah, because and it's true just spec wise of all this stuff of like a $1,000 lens or a $3,000 lens is going to be leagues better than a $500 lens or a $200 kit lens, But once you start talking about going from $3,000 to $10,000, much smaller difference.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Most cases imperceivable.
Right.
To 99% of people.
Right. And it just depends on the look you're going for. Some lenses at that level have a certain look. So I understand that.
Yeah.
But you can also achieve
and anamorphic too is still a jump. If
of course,
you're going to have to pay for anamorphic. And that's something that can be a stylized look. But that's one of the very few things that will really give your quality a bump with changing your price margin. So that's something that's worth thinking about too for people that are thinking about all this expensive equipment is like it's got to be the right fit. You got to be at the right spot in your career and in your bank account.
I think it's just. I think